at halftime. The A&M Consolidated Tigers with a 28-3 lead over the Raiders of Leander Rouse. Welcome back now as we welcome Brad Corrier in. And Brad is on the committee for the 100th anniversary of A&M Consolidated Tiger High School. Brad, thanks for coming up a little bit. Last time that we spoke about this, we made a little headway on some of the little factoids about A&M Consolidated, and talk a bit now about what stage this committee is in. Talk about the fundraising efforts just a little bit.
Well, Mike, first of all, thanks very much for having me up here.
Oh, it's an honor.
We're excited about this. Kind of right now, we're a little ahead of the game because obviously the Centennial is the 2020 year. Actually, the real birthday of Consolidated was September 27, 1920. So, but what we're doing right now is trying to formulate. What we have done is formulate an endowment. And we're starting to raise money for that endowment. In fact, we just got a $12,000 grant from the CSISD Foundation towards that. And the idea here is to raise $100,000 to go into this endowment, or more, hopefully. That'll be permanent for the benefit of A&M Consolidated High School. As the proceeds from that investment, the endowment go on, every year the student body, the faculty, and the staff will be able to decide how to spend that money and do improvements to the school.
I think it's really cool, some of the ideas that you have as far as the Christmas break is concerned. If everything goes as planned, you want folks to come back ready to head into 2020, making no mistake that it is a 100th anniversary. You might talk about the light poles.
Yep. So one of the we're about to roll all this out, and the sponsorship options. But the big one is the banners on the light poles. These are the same kind of banners you see around the A&M campus on the light poles. That's going to have our Centennial logo on it, and then you can put your own company logo or name on the banner. These are going to be on all the light poles all around the Consolidated campus. So the idea is to get these all in place. I think we can sell up to about 63 of them, and these are going to be $1,000 a piece. And hopefully when the spring semester starts, when after everybody comes back from Christmas, the first week of January, we'll have all these banners out, and it'll be a pretty exciting introduction to the Centennial.
Brad, what will you do if College Station High School says we'll take 62 of them?
We'll take their money.
Hey, you got to be prepared for those things. So
we are open to everybody. Not a problem. But we would really like alumni, Consol alumni,
right,
businesses.
Exactly.
We would love to, absolutely.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about the shirt that you're wearing right now. It's a snazzy little shirt, a good design here on the pocket. Talk about that a little bit.
So on the back of the shirt is a great big logo. It's a Centennial logo, and in the middle of that logo is a rendering of Guyon Hall, which is the first building Consol existed on the Texas A&M campus in 1920. Old classic Greek architecture style, looks really cool, so it's a pretty neat logo.
And where do people get those shirts?
We are just printing them up now, so we will have those available very shortly, possibly starting the next football game, home game.
So you have one of them on right now, but technically it's not for sale yet. You're like the model.
I am the model. I did the first batch. Actually, Gwen Elder, the principal, got the first one. We always put the person in charge with the first one.
Right.
So it's we're beta testing them.
I got two final questions for you. First of all, let's talk about how people get involved in this. I know you got a Facebook group. That's how I found out about what was going on and said, hey, I mean, no better way. I mean, we've been at this a good while, and I love Consolidated, so let's talk a little bit about how to get involved. And so how do people go about doing that?
If you want to get involved or you want to sponsor, email us to our Facebook page. You can contact me directly. In fact, I'm even willing to put my phone number out there. It's 979-571-2839. Contact me. We would love to have you sponsor.
Every spammer in the country already has that number.
Probably.
So what's a few more people?
I'm in real estate, too, so it's nonstop. I'll try not to hang up on anybody who calls.
Exactly. Let's talk, too, very briefly now before we go to the second half. What your attendance of high school, it doesn't go back all that far, but talk a little bit about some of your memories of Consolidated. And you were in this building, I would suppose, right?
I was in this building. It looked quite different back then. I graduated in 1986. Gosh, the memories that we can put on air, that's kind of tough, Mike.
Well, I know, because probably back then you weren't as straight as an arrow. You probably pulled some monkey shine and have a few write-ups in the vault over there.
I was generally a good kid. I mean, let's face it, Gwen Elder and I were friends all the way through high school. So there you go, we graduated
together. And she still
together.
claims
And
you.
she still claims she put me in charge of the committee. So there must be something okay about me.
That's right.
But, the big thing about high school is you build friendships that last a lifetime. And I think we can all look back on the influence that is. And then if you look at the history of Consol and the outstanding people that have come out of here, the outstanding people that we're churning out today, the students, it's something really worth celebrating.
Here's one thing I always have the privilege when I speak to some classes. I tell them two things. I say, first, you're looking at a guy who's clearly been out of high school for a very long time. But if you're like me, it seems like almost a blink. Your parents were right. I still remember how Mejia High School smelled. I remember everything about it on graduation, and we would all like a do-over in life. And I'm sure that those of you, even from the class of '86, I was a little bit earlier than that from mine, but don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are things you can't remember from 4 days ago, but you could work your way around that building if you had to.
Absolutely. And then the problem when we get to our age is that my daughter just graduated from Consol last year. And so that makes you feel even older. And she's sitting here Snapchatting me just before I walked in here, and she's a sophomore at A&M. So, and I had an outstanding education. And so it's, absolutely. It's amazing how time flies.
Well, it is something to be celebrated. The 100th anniversary of A&M Consolidated High School started in 1920. Again, get them on their Facebook page. And one more time for your phone number before we kick off the second half.
979-571-2839. Feel free to call me or text me.
Brad Corrier, thank you so much for your time. We will have someone on during our next home broadcast as well, but you've made our night. Thank you very much. We are set and ready to go with the second half of action. The ensuing kickoff comes down to the 14-yard line. Valen Jones running room at the 25 to 30, and then is stacked up there by a bunch of white jerseys. It'll be first down 10, A&M Consolidated. Mark Green, let's hope the offense gets off to a little bit better start than it did in the first half.
Yeah.